Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Let's Play. Today I'm going to play my favorite game of all time, and that is, of course, Space Quest. Chapter 1, The Sarien Encounter. This is the original 1987 parser interface game, Space Quest, made with the original Adventure Game Interpreter, AGI, by Sierra. And it was the second game I ever owned, and the first game I ever beat. But it wasn't just me that beat this game. I was one of many who helped solve the puzzles to bring us to the end of this game and finally beat it. My whole family was involved in beating this game, and not just my parents and my sisters, but my cousins, my aunts and uncles. You see, we were the first people in our family to have a computer, so this game was a big deal because not many people played computer games. They were a new thing at the time, so everyone was kind of involved. And it's the only game I could say was like that, where we all worked together to complete a game, and that just made it so much more fun for me. I don't think I've ever had as much fun playing a game than I did this, because it was kind of my introduction into the whole world of computer and video games, and it was just so much fun just working with people to try and complete a great game that was as funny as this and well written as this, and just something very new at the time. And it still is my favorite game because I have such very fond memories of it. Very well written, very funny. It's kind of a spoof of all the science fiction movies that you see out there. This one's particularly spoofing Star Wars more than all the others, but that each game kind of focuses on a different one. Some focus more on Star Trek, some focus more on inner space and things like that. But this one was kind of more focused on Star Wars. So without further ado, let's just play this wonderful game, Space Quest. Here we go. Space Quest Chapter 1, The Sarien Encounter. I love this song. Two guys from Andromeda. Mark Crow and Scott Murphy were the two guys from Andromeda. Mark Crow did the graphics and music, and Scott Murphy did the programming, and I think he did the story. Very funny guys come up with a game like this. Light years from Earth's solar system, the people of the galaxy Irnon have been struggling to maintain the precious balance of life. The sun of Irnon is slowly dying. The planets grow cold. Food is no longer plentiful. Life will soon become impossible to sustain. The scientific community of Xenon devised a plan to convert one of Irnon's lifeless planets into a new sun. The effort was centered around the development of a device called the Star Generator. The Star Generator would be capable of igniting an otherwise useless planet into a raging ball of flame. An expedition set out aboard the starship Arcota to successfully complete development and testing of the Star Generator. The Arcota is now returning triumphantly to Xenon with a fully operational Star Generator. You serve as a member of the crew of the Arcota as a janitor. That's right, a janitor. And not a very good one. You would probably have been sacked and replaced were the Arcota not millions of kilometers from Xenon. As we join our story, you have just completed one of your famous on-shift naps in one of the janitorial storage closets. What you're hearing is the Tandy 3 voice. I grew up playing this on a Tandy 1000, so I decided to emulate it in a Tandy 1000. You could play this. I mean, most people will play this using the PC internal speaker, which I think sucks, by the way. It's one note at a time. It's not polyphonic. It sounds dull and annoying. But there are other options, too. You could also play this on a Apple IIgs. The Apple IIgs had just come out when this game came out, so this was like one of the first games made for it. And it utilized the Apple IIgs sound system very well, because it actually had a digitized voice in some points, and was able to use drums. Also, the Amiga, I think, had just come out too, and the Amiga had better sound than the Tandy as well. But I chose to emulate this in DOSBox with Tandy speakers just because it's it's the one I grew up on, and I actually think it sounds better than the Apple IIgs. The Apple IIgs, I don't know, the samples sound a little off sometimes, and same with the Amiga. Amiga's a little bit better, but the Amiga didn't have the digitized voice that the Apple IIgs has. I mean, you could always check it out. Other people have uploaded Let's Plays with the Apple IIgs and with the Amiga sound system. But I'm going with what I grew up on, and that's the Tandy. So here we are. We're on the Arcota. Now this is the ship that was sent out by Xenon to test the star generator. The star generator is built to bring new life to their dying sun. It will turn a lifeless planet into a new sun. And it seems to work. And I'm a janitor on the ship. Now I could put my own name here. I could put any name in here. To log on as a crew member, you must enter your name below, up to 18 characters. But if you don't select a name, you will by default be named Roger Wilco, Space Guy. And of course, Roger Wilco is the main character of all the Space Quest games. In fact, later on, Roger Wilco almost became the title of the series. I don't know why they kind of put his name in big letters above the name Space Quest, but I remember in the early 90s, I think there was a push to change to kind of get away from Space Quest and call it Roger Wilco, because I guess Sierra had so many Quest games like King's Quest, Police Quest, Heroes Quest, all those games. But I'm just going to keep calling it Space Quest because that's the name I remember it by originally. And he's going to be named Roger Wilco, Space Guy. Because I didn't choose a name. The alarm's going off. You are startled by the sound of an alarm. It is followed by an urgent voice which warns that the Arcota has been boarded by unknown intruders. It ends abruptly. So here we are. This is one of those games where if you type look, it says you'll have to be more specific. You actually have to type look around. In the other games, you could just type look and it equaled look around. This is one of the many hallways in the Arcota. Let's go in the closet. You have just stumbled into a small, dark, and very cluttered utility closet. Many things fall, most of them landing on you. Doesn't say much for your cleaning prowess. So let's look in closet and see if anything's here. You can't see anything in here because it is dark. Alright, so there's nothing in here. So we're going to leave and we're going to go into this room here. See what's going on here. By the way, I think this is the first Sierra game where he doesn't have a nose when you're in the side view. All the other ones, they have this big nose sticking out, which kind of looked a little weird. I kind of like this design better. He kind of looks a little cooler on his profile with a straight face like that. Alright, so let's look around in here. Look around. This is the Arcota's data archive. Many volumes of information are stored on data cartridges. There is a computer console here. Look at computer. The console consists of a screen, keyboard, and cartridge slot. Atop it rests a Model DX cartridge retrieval unit. Okay. Look at screen. Welcome to the Arcada Data Archive, Model DX Storage and Retrieval System. To select a cartridge, enter the title below. Press Enter to quit. Title catalog available with top security clearance only. So, we have to know the name of the cartridge, obviously. So let's see if we could get a cartridge on the star generator. Searching, title not available. So since we don't know the name of the cartridge, we can't really do anything here right now. But we can look around a bit more. We can look at retrieval unit. It is a Model DX cartridge retrieval unit. It is used to retrieve cartridges. It is currently empty. Can look at keyboard. The keyboard has the usual keys found on a Xenon keyboard. Above it are the words Arcada Data Archive. And we have all these cartridges on the wall here. Looking at the wall, you see shelves full of data cartridges which can only be removed by the retrieval unit. So we can't take a cartridge. That can't be done right now because we need to use this retrieval unit. So if you try to use it, how would you like to do that? We would have to actually look at the screen and type the name of the cartridge once we know what it is. And we got a nice table here. You can look at that real quick. The table is used for holding things above the floor. And we can look at the chair. It looks much like many other chairs you have seen in your lifetime. You can sit in chair. You don't have time to be sitting around. Yeah, we got a red alert going on, so it might be a good idea to get a move on and have a look around here. And already we see some dead bodies on the floor below us. This is another hallway aboard the Arcota. There is an elevator door nearby. Let's look at the elevator. You are too far away to get a good look. How's about now? This is the elevator to one of the other levels of the Arcada. Let's go in and see what's in here. And as you see, it just brings us to the floor below. Those arrows above the elevator tell us where it's going to take us. We've got some dead bodies here, so look at these bodies. Look at body. A cursory glance indicates that this is a dead lab technician. Let's search him. Your search of the body reveals nothing. All right, let's look at this other guy here. This appears to be a non-breathing research scientist. You can see his wound there. He got shot. Your search of the body reveals nothing. So this door looks like someone broke in here, so we're going to look in here. This is the Star Generator Development Laboratory. Due to your incredibly low security clearance, you have never been allowed access to this room. So, let's search these bodies here. Yet another body lies motionless. The reward for your search is nothing. Just look at this pedestal. There's an empty pedestal here. It looks like it is used to hold some large object, maybe the star generator. Very interesting. So the star generator was once here, but it is no longer. Maybe someone stole it. You see us sprawled at your feet the lifeless body of another crew member. Search him as well. The reward for your search is nothing. Alright. So we got like all these buttons here. Look at console. Your mind is boggled in attempting to understand the function of the various buttons, switches, lights, and displays. It appears the board is not operating. Turn on board. Turn on computer. That does not compute. Push button. Don't understand your request. So we can't use those buttons there. Let's look at the screen though up here.
Warning, self-destruct mechanism has been armed. Evacuate ship immediately. This is not a test. Time till detonation, 16 minutes.
So that's not good. We're running out of time. The ship is going to explode. So we don't want to waste too much time. We want to know what we're doing. This is one of the reasons why I said you have to type fast in this game, because it doesn't pause when you're typing. It does pause when these little windows are up here, these text boxes. But when you're typing, you have to be quick, because the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking, and there's always some sort of pressure on you to be quick in this game. Hanging from the ceiling is a large device which apparently helped support the item which was mounted on the pedestal below. So yes, that confirms it. The star generator was in this room, but it is no longer. So let's get out of here. We're under a lot of time constraints here, and look around some more. Maybe we'll find something to do. Let's go this way. Actually, we were going this way before. Continue upstairs just to see what's up here on the left. And we'll go to the left here. And it looks like I've reached a dead end, at least in the upper floor area. There's a dead body at my feet. You are in one of the hallways near an elevator. Okay, let's search this body. Let's look at him first. It appears to be one of your crewmates. He is non-functional. You search the body of your crewmate and find a key card. Ooh, okay. Let's take the key card. You take the key card, and you see I got 1 point for that. Now, if you push F4, you can look at the items you're carrying. So let's select the key card. The key card is a flat rectangular piece of synthetic material which is magnetically keyed for passing check stations. Written in tiny letters are the words "Beak and Hinder Security Systems." Okay, that's cool. Let's keep looking around here, and now I'm gonna go back in here. In this lab here, in the cartridge room here, maybe the key card can be used in the computer. Let's see. Alright. Insert key card. Say what? Okay, guess we can't. Ooh, someone came in. The door opens and a man you recognize as one of the lab scientists enters. He appears to be injured. After only a few steps, he slumps to the floor. Poor guy. That man. A large laser hole has been burned in his uniform, through which you can see previously unexposed tissue. Struggling painfully, he raises up on one elbow. Talk to Matt. Oh. He tells you the Arcada is under attack and that the star generator is in danger. You had better leave if you value your life. He looks over toward the shelves full of cartridges and utters the words, "Astral body." He then settles to the floor, lifeless. Oh. In his current condition, the man is not much of a conversationalist, so he died. Let's search him. Your search of the damaged body's pockets nets only some heat-fused chunks of varying sizes, which were probably melted by a pulsary blast. Nothing to waste time on. Okay. So that's sad. He died, but he told me what cartridge to enter in here. So let's get that cartridge. Title found. Retrieving. Okay, here we go. So now it's cartridge retrieval unit is moving to the cartridge titled Astral Body. And we'll find out what this cartridge is important for in a bit. Now, this is one of the things that displays how cruel Sierra could be. Let's take the cartridge from the retrieval unit. Done. This item, probably the most important item in the game, and if you don't get it, you can actually go all the way to the end of the game and not beat it. Fail at the end. It's actually, you'll get an ending, but it'll be a bad ending. Because you missed this one item in the very beginning of the game. It's an example of Sierra cruelty, they call this, where you could easily miss something early on, and if you missed it, you have to go all the way back. Usually loading really old saves, or even starting from the beginning in this case, because we you know, this is the very beginning of the game that you get this. And you can't go back here to get it, too. It's like once you leave this ship, you're done. This ship blows up, and there's no coming back. So this is Sierra Cruelty. As you see, I got 7 points for getting this cartridge. So it is a big deal. This is a data storage cartridge. On it are the words, Astral Body Formation, the Untold Story. Alright, that's cool. We'll have a look at that. I'm going to save first. We'll call this Astral Body. And let's insert the cartridge and see what happens. Ooh. And you die as soon as you insert the cartridge. The alien observes his handiwork briefly, then leaves. As you lie on the floor in a smoldering carbo-gelatinous heap, you can't help but wonder why you bothered getting up this morning. Thank you for playing Space Quest. Too bad you failed miserably and doomed all your people to a horrible death at the hands of the Sariens. If you continue playing as skillfully as this, we'll never have a chance for a sequel. Better luck next time. And that's the first death that I experienced in Space Quest. The deaths in this game are usually hilarious. Some are better than others. This was one of the good ones. It's kind of annoying that you can't actually see the cartridge as soon as you get it. It's not until much later in the game that you actually find out what's on this cartridge and why it's so important. But yeah, I'll reload the game because fortunately I did save, and we'll continue from where I left off. As if that never happened. Don't you wish you could do that in real life? Alright, so let's continue exploring this ship. We'll go this way this time. Look at him now that he's dead. It's a grisly sight. There is nothing you can do for him now. Poor guy. More dead people there. If you look at that elevator below us, you'll see that it points down. That's actually the elevator we have to head to. It takes us to the escape pod area, but I am getting ahead of myself, of course. Here we are on the other side of this wall. If you notice, it goes around in a circle, this ship, because there's the dead body that I found the key card. Let's look around. You are in one of the Arcada's hallways near an elevator. Let's look at these alarms. I didn't really... look at light. There is a red flashing alarm light here, which seems to be indicating that you had better get moving. Okay. Not sure how much time I have left. I think I have about probably 10 minutes. Might be cutting it close because I did spend a lot of time looking at useless things. Well, we can find out in a bit. You think you hear footsteps. Oh, this is one of the interesting things in this game. Yep. Oh! There I am, joining my buddies there as a dead body. The alien observes his handiwork briefly, then leaves. As you lie on the floor in a smoldering carbo-gelatinous heap, you can't help but wonder why you bothered getting up this morning. So, yeah, this is one of the things when you see that you think you hear footsteps, that means a Sarien is coming by. The Sariens are those evil red alien guys that invaded our ship and stole the star generator. And they're killing everyone on board. So you want to definitely beat feet and hide behind something, like, for example, that elevator when you see that. But I just wanted to show you what would happen when I didn't. Let's go this way this time. Just because I think it's a little closer to our destination. And we'll walk. It's cool. Sometimes you see aliens marching beneath you when you're walking on these top areas. You'll see like a group of 3 of them. Don't know if I'll run into it this time. Probably not. But we'll go through this, navigate the dead bodies, and go to this elevator down here. Actually, let me search this. Ooh, you think you hear footsteps? Let me hide behind the elevator. I hope I'm on the good side. Yeah, okay, there he is. Unable to see anyone here, the alien leaves to search elsewhere. Cool. I outsmarted him. Alright, let's look at this body. Can't be done here. This is another one of your non-functional crewmates. It's a grisly sight. A quick search of the body turns up nothing. Alright, so let's go down the elevator and see what's down here. Alright, here we are. Look around. This is a section of the lower levels of the Arcota. Let's look at this body. You see a body here. It is a formerly live crewmate. Your search of the laser-riddled corpse reveals nothing. Alright, let's go. Let's look around here. You are in the central control area of the Arcota. The reactor domes pulsate irregularly, as if they had been tampered with. This does not look good. Through the window just above the control console, you can see down into the vehicle bay below. Okay, so that's a window over there. Let's look at this body first. Here lies another heap of the fried humanity. The attackers have proven to be very thorough thus far. There's something to be said for you being the hero type. You rationalize for not being the hero type, I'm sorry. Search them. I like how I have something different to say for each body. You search the damaged body of your fellow crewman. You get too close a glimpse of the injury. In the pockets you find nothing. Okay. Let's look in the window. Looking through the window, you could see down into the vehicle bay. Looks like there's buttons here. Let's look at the console. On the console, by the window, are two buttons marked Open Bay Door and Close Bay Door. Alright, let's push Open Bay Door. There you go. Window. Looking through the window, you could see down into the vehicle bay. The rather massive bay doors are open. Let's push Close Bay Door. Let's see what happens. I guess that closes the bay door. I think since we want to escape, we want to keep the Open Bay Door open. And notice how we lost points when we closed it, but we gained it when we opened it. Okay, so let's look at these lights. There's a red flashing alarm light here, which seems to be indicating that you had better get moving. Okay. So we just opened the pod bay doors. Open the pod bay doors, Hal. And we'll continue on from here. Alright, so let's continue on. Sorry, I didn't have my mic down. Let's continue on here, and we will explore this section over here. Look around. This is one of the mid-level decks of the Arcada. Okay. Let's look at this body here. One of your crewmates lies at your feet. He is non-functional. Search body. You search the corpse and turn up nothing. Okay. So, there's only one body that had something. That was the body that had the key card. Alas, it does not open. You have adorned the door with a small circle of nose grease. Were you Carl Malden, it could have gotten ugly. Ooh. Alright, so this door is locked. What's this here? Look at wall. The walls are all nondescript except for a keycard unit near the elevator. It controls access to the level below. Oh, so we can insert the keycard here. You slide the keycard into its slot. You hear an audible click. You take the keycard back. And that should unlock this door here. Nice. Okay.
Warning.
Okay. Let's look around. Bay doors. This is the flight prep room of the Arcota. As you can see, there is a sign on the back wall as well as two closed doors and two buttons. Bay doors are open. Look at sign. The sign on the wall warns that the bay doors are currently open. Okay. Let's save here. Bay doors are open. So now we will look at this console here. Might be some buttons we can push. Look at console. The console is adorned with many status indicators. One button on the right is marked airlocked. Let's push the airlock button. Cool. And we'll go on out. Toodly-doo, toodly-doodly-doo. Ignoring the warning that the bay doors are open, and just waltz right through this door without any sort of protection whatsoever. No spacesuit or anything. Uh-oh. Oops, forgot my suit. That concludes your experiment involving the effects of total vacuum on the human body, Roger Wilco. Alright, so I just wanted to do that. I knew I was going to die. I just like that death where he just gets fat and explodes there. So, obviously what you need to do before you open that door, in fact, he probably should have died as soon as he opened that airlock door, is open these closets here. Look at wall. The walls look pretty much the same as the others. There's a sign on the back wall. Beneath that is a right button and a left button. Push right. And there's my spacesuit. Look in closet. You see a flight suit hanging in the closet. Look suit. This is a standard issued flight suit designed to protect the wearer from the unique conditions of space travel. Let's take the suit. And look, he just changes right into it. Is that part of my inventory? No, it's not. Okay, let's push the left button now. And look in this closet. It looks like an electrical gadget of some sort. Let's look gadget. On the floor of the closet sits some sort of gadget. It looks electronic. Take gadget. Okay, so now we got the gadget. Let's look at that. Written on the electronic gadget are the words dialect translator. On one end is a dial and a light, currently dim. Okay. So let's turn on gadget. You turn the dial on the right. The light begins to glow. And look at it again. Let's see. So it's a dialect translator, and it's currently on. So I'm guessing that will translate alien languages for us. Okay. Let's push the airlock door now. We should be safe to walk outside now that we got our spacesuit on. Every time I say space, I have to say it like that because this is Space Quest. And hopefully we could just toodly-doo outside without exploding. Because that's what happens in space. You explode. Vacuum just kind of tears you apart. It's the opposite of being deep underwater where the pressure's too high, then you implode. In space, you explode. So now we're here. We're at the bay, ship bay, whatever. And let's die a couple more times. There's a hole right here. Look around. This is the cavernous vehicle bay. And you can walk down here and die. Oh, no. Well, Roger Wilco, that was a smooth half-gainer into the elevator shaft. Did you decide that you would think more clearly with your brains reorganized? Okay, so that's one way to die, is just falling down there. But there's another way to die, and we want to try as many ways as we can. I'm probably not going to hit all the deaths. I think there's already YouTube videos showing all the deaths in this game. But here's one you can just waltz right out. That's one way to escape the ship, is to just walk right off. Abandon ship! Ah! Congratulations, Roger Wilco. You have found your way off the Arcota and escaped obvious danger. Unfortunately, you will never be seen or heard from again as you float gracefully through the heavens for eternity. Cool, right? Alright, so, obviously, we got to do something else here. Let's look at this console. Looking at the console, you see a button marked Platform. There are also some gauges which don't interest you. So let's push Platform. And there is now an escape pod here. Ooh. There we go. And this can get us off the ship. Look at the pod. This is one of the Arcota's escape pods. You vaguely remember receiving some orientation on these when you joined the crew. But of course, being a lazy janitor, he did not read it or pay attention. So let's enter the pod. And let's look around. You are sitting in the pilot seat of the escape pod facing toward the window. There is a dark console before you and a seatbelt straps on your side. Confused as to what you should do, you wish you would have paid more attention during the new crew orientation. Okay, so let's look at the screen. The screen is dark. Push the button. You should specify which button you would like to push. Let's look at the buttons. There are 3 buttons here. They are marked Auto Nav, Power, and Don't Touch. Push Power. Okay, let's look at the screen.
Escape pod systems activated. Ready for instructions. Emergency program initiated. Pull throttle to execute launch sequence.
Alright, so let's pull the throttle and see what happens. Please buckle your seatbelt first. Okay, buckle seatbelt. Done. And pull throttle. The door is ajar. Okay, close the door. Done. Now pull throttle. See, now you can see why I had to type real quick, because we only have a few minutes left, and if you waste time typing all these things, you could die easily. The escape pod moves slowly out into space. And there we go. Congratulations, you have narrowly escaped an explosive death. Don't start patting yourself on the back just yet, though. You are now traveling aimlessly through the cosmos. Okay. Let's push don't touch and see what happens. It said don't touch. I warned you. And we're back in King's Quest 1. Look at that. Ken, did you hear something? It was probably just the Gators entertaining another Space Quest player. Go back to sleep, Berta. Through a strange quirk of fate, or was it, you have stumbled into a place beyond time, space, and dimension. You have entered the Daventry Zone. That's right, the land of King's Quest. This will not help you now since you are playing Space Quest. Just a little funny inside joke there. If you push that don't touch button, you crash into the King's Quest castle screen. The famous King's Quest 1 castle screen that I've already done a Let's Play of. But it's a nice little reference there. I thought it was a neat joke. Of course, the people talking, Berta and Ken. Roberta Williams was the one who designed this game, and Ken Williams is the president of Sierra, who also helped design it. So this is that was just a reference to them. So we died again. So let's load up our pod and pull the throttle. And oh, I forgot to buckle my seatbelt. Okay, done. Close door. Done. And we'll pull the throttle. So now we're just launched out again. Escape pod moves slowly out of the vehicle bay and into space. There's the Arcada behind us, and we escaped again. And we can do stuff. You'll have to be more specific. You are sitting in the pilot seat of the escape pod facing toward the window. There's a dark console before you and a seatbelt straps to your side. Confused as to what you should do, you wish you would have paid more attention during crew orientation. So if we kind of just sit here for a while, we'll hit another death in this game. So let's see what happens if we just wait around a bit. There's a planet there. Due to a lack of navigation, you have exhausted the meager amount of emergency fuel without finding a safe place to land. You are lost in space! So, that's another way to die, is to just not do anything while you're sitting there. One other death I actually want to show you guys, and that's if you stay on the ship too long. It will eventually explode. That timer will run out. So I'm going to put it on fastest and wait around here and just see what happens. I don't think I have much time left on this ship anyway, so it shouldn't take too long. Kaboom! Gosh, Roger Wilco, it would appear you have met an untimely demise. With the explosive destruction of the Arcota, you have become part of a fresh collection of space debris. So that's what happens if you take too long. If you notice, you don't really have much time. You get about 20 minutes, and that's about it. So back then, if you didn't know how to type quickly, I mean, you really had to learn. I mean, because you had to. If you notice, I was typing a lot of things between buckling the seatbelt, pushing the open pod bay door buttons, and searching all the bodies to find the key cards and everything, and getting the cartridge. It's a lot of things you have to do before that ship explodes. And as a kid of 7 who didn't know how to type that well, it was very difficult to get off the ship in 20 minutes, even on normal speed. So, anyway, you just had to learn, and that's how it was back then. Alright, so let's go back. We'll load our old save, and we'll actually do it right this time. Pull throttle. Please buckle your seatbelt first. No, there we go. Buckle seatbelt. Close door. And pull the throttle again. Here we go, off into space. The escape pod moves slowly out of the vehicle bay and out into space. And there's the Arcada behind us again. And we escaped again. Now, what you're supposed to do here is push the auto nav button so that it actually lands you on a planet. Let's see what happens after we push that. Flying through space, flying through space. The monitor flashes. You study it to see what new information is being displayed. Planet profile. Planet Kerona, dimensions 3,744.3 kilometer diameter, atmosphere breathable, life civilization unknown, temperature 40 Celsius. The autonav system has locked onto the small planet of Kerona, and the pod has begun its approach. Nothing to do now but hang on. And we veer off onto this unknown desert planet, which is very much like Tatooine of Star Wars, and we crash onto the planet. After a skull-jarring landing, you peer through the shattered viewing port out onto the desert landscape. A feeling of utter desolation settles in. You're in a fine mess now, Roger Wilco. Okay, so here we are on the planet Kerona. We've crashed here. Look around. Are you sure you want to look at that? So doesn't want me to look at it on around. Pull throttle. The throttle seems to be jammed. It won't budge. Push power. Very slowly push power. Pushing the power button has no effect. Alright. Look pod. You're inside the escape pod. It appears that the more fragile devices were damaged severely by the impact of the landing. A survival kit has broken loose from someplace. Oh, okay. Let's take the kit. Done. So now we've got a survival kit. This is your survival kit. It contains a Xenon army knife and a can of dehydrated water. I love that, dehydrated water. I think that was one of the Polish inventions. Open survival kit. Okay, well, I guess it's already open. Let's look at the dehydrated water here. This is a cylinder of dehydrated water. At the top of the cylinder is a regulator and a short nozzle. On the side is a label. Okay, and let's look at the Xenon Army knife. This is your handy-dandy Xenon Army knife. Okay, so let's exit the pod. You're unable to leave with your seatbelt on. Okay. Unbuckle seatbelt. Done. Now exit the pod. Alright, now this is one of the things I remember being stuck on for a long time. There's an item here. Now if you look at this pod, the pod seems to be semi-destroyed. That's all it says. There's actually another item that you need from this pod that we missed, and were unable to get past a certain part later on in the game for a very long time. But fortunately, I know what that is. You look at the window of the pod. The window was shattered by the impact of the landing. Okay, glass. You do not possess the designated item. You can take one of the pieces of glass. Glass is now in possession, and it's something that's very easy to miss, and I think it's one of those puzzles that was actually made a little bit easier in the remake of this game, the point-and-click remake in 1991, I believe it came out. And it's annoying that they didn't really point that out to you when you crashed. This is a piece of highly reflective view shield glass from the escape pod. Due to its special design, there are no sharp edges. So let's save again, just so that, because we have the glass now, and let's explore this landscape here. You have just become a vertical meal for the local welcoming committee. Thank you for playing Space Quest. Too bad you failed miserably and doomed all your people to a horrible death at the hands of the Sariens. If you continue playing skillfully as this, we'll never have a chance for a sequel. Better luck next time. So yeah, that's It's actually an alien named Grell. It's kind of like the Sarlacc pit monster. Although this game came out in '87, so this was before George Lucas added that little beak inside the Sarlacc pit's mouth. Um, and he basically surrounds all of the areas that you're not supposed to walk to, like this area here. He'll get you, and just so that they don't let you go up there. So I wonder. Sometimes I wonder if George Lucas, when he made the special edition of Return of the Jedi, if he got the idea of adding that little beak that comes out of the Sarlacc pit monster from Grell here. Yeah, I think this is the other direction. We're only able to go one direction from the pod, and that is east, because this guy will eat you no matter where you go. Which is, I think, a neat idea. It's better than the whole looping world around thing that King's Quest 1 and 2 had, and 3 and 4 actually I think had it as well, where you walk far enough in one direction, the world just loops around. But if you go this way, you'll see there is a plateau of sorts. You are at the southwest edge of a mesa. It is very desolate here. And we can explore this a little bit. Look at these screens here. Look at the wonderful artwork they made with their speakers here. There's a hole in this looking hole. You learn nothing new through this act. Okay, I thought there was something in there. Look around. You're at the west side of a cliff area. Climb cliff. You cannot climb the cliffs or rocks. Right. There's nothing over here. Let's look at the items here. Since I'm on an alien planet, I'm probably going to need to use this dialect translator. I might want to save the batteries, though. Turn off translator. There's no need for you to turn the gadget off. Okay, I guess not. Oh, there's Grell again. He gets me every time. Okay. So let's explore a bit more. La di di da. I wanted to go north of this area here. I'm going to put it on fast so that I walk a little faster. I don't want to go to the left. I just want to go a little north. I guess I can't. Alright, let's go this way then. Is there anything to the south? No, it looks like there isn't. Okay. Oh yeah, this is interesting going down here. Oh, another Grell. You can't go south. Another vertical meal for Grell. A little faster here. Here we are. You are in a unique area. There is a natural land bridge here as well as life in the form of plants. You take any of these plants. You tear off a piece of the plant. Oh, look at that. It is a plant that you are not familiar with. I forgot about these plants. I didn't know you could take them. I'm going to eat it, just see what happens. You plant your teeth into the strange plant and take a large bite, only to find it tastes exquisitely bad. If you had your choice, you would choose any form of death over a meal of this. Oh, but it didn't kill me. Okay, that's interesting. And I still have a little left. You are not familiar with this plant. Okay. Can I take this plant too? Take plant. You already have that. Okay, so I don't need any of the other plants. Alright, let's keep exploring here. We're on the, Yep. You are near the base of a plateau. It is a rather bleak environment. It's an interesting structure up there. You are near the base of a plateau upon which rests two large rocks. It is a rather bleak environment. What's this? Suddenly, you see a large black metal sphere falling out of the sky. A Sarien spider droid. Upon touching down on the planet's surface, it sprouts legs and begins its search for you. You recall from an article in Space Piston magazine that this droid is designed to seek out organic life forms and self-destruct when contact is made. Oh boy. You have just been blown into a bite-sized chunks by a Sarien spider droid. Alright, so that's one thing we got to avoid. The Sariens are sending probes after me, kind of like the probes in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, except they explode as soon as they touch you. So you need to avoid them at all costs. Alright, and let's go up here, see what's going on. And it looks like we're back in Grail territory. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Grail territory is everywhere. Exploring the planet Kerona. 'Cause I'm Roger Wilco, the space guy. It's down here. You're in an area almost entirely surrounded by cliffs. A path winds its way along the sheer cliff to the left, and it's not accessible from here. There is a cave to the right. Okay, let's go inside. Oh, I remember this guy. What have we here? Ooh! He just turned me into a basketball. Orat has transformed you into a new source of recreation. You, of course, don't survive this treatment. It's tough to make friends around here. Okay, so that's another baddie we need to avoid. And, continue exploring. Actually, I'm going to go down here this time and check this area. Alright. Looks like there's a path up here. You're in a desert cliff area. Okay, let's go up here. Alright, and it looks like we're up on that plateau that we saw from Orat's cave. Oh, there's the spider. Suddenly you see a large black metal sphere falling out of the sky. A Sarien spider droid. Upon touching down on the planet's surface, it sprouts legs and begins its search for you. You recall from an article in Space Piston magazine that this droid is designed to seek out organic life forms and self-destruct when contact is made. So, now that we're up here, we're safe from this guy. Let me save just to have a save for it. Spider droid. I also want to change the speed to normal, just because when you're walking on narrow areas and cliffs like this, you don't want to be walking too fast. Now this bridge, another example of Sierra cruelty. If you notice, when I cross this bridge, a crack forms. See that? I crossed it once and a crack formed. I'm just going to save here. If you cross it again, there's another crack. So that's 2 crosses. Cross it again. 3 cracks. 3 crosses, I was successful. But look at the 4th time, now it's starting to crumble. And then the 5th time, that's it. You're dead. So you can't cross this a 5th time. You have traveled a long way only to die by carelessly stepping to your death. What a clod. Thank you for playing Space Quest. Too bad you failed miserably and doomed all your people to a horrible death at the hands of the Sariens. If you continue playing as skillfully as this, we'll never have a chance for a sequel. Better luck next time. This is kind of like the bridge in King's Quest II. There was a bridge that you had to cross 7 times in order to beat the game, and if you crossed it an 8th time, it would break and you'd die. And the only way you knew that it was going to break was because each time you crossed the bridge, you'd gain a point. So if you got really far in the game, but you happened to cross the bridge one unnecessary time, then the game was rendered unwinnable because you couldn't cross it anymore to finish the game. You couldn't cross it that 8th time. This game is a little bit more generous because you don't need to cross it 5 times. There's actually it's only if you really mess up and cross it way too many times, and you can't get really far in the game as far with this ruining the game for you. It's not like it's King's Quest 2 where like you're crossing that bridge from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. I mean, this is really only in this section of the game that you have to cross it. But it's still an example of Sierra cruelty where they purposely rendered the game unwinnable just to laugh at you. And they do laugh at you in this game. They make fun of you for falling into their little unwinnable dead ends. Alright, so yeah, they do it on purpose. It's not even bad game design. They just do it on purpose because they think it's funny. They have a cruel sense of humor. Now, if you look at this rock, there's a very large rock on the natural bridge. This is the rock that we can use to kill our spider friend down there. You just have to wait till he is in the right position, which I believe is that little line thing that's below me, right there. Below that green-shaped thing below me. So we'll just wait till he goes down there, and then we will push the rock right on him. Now, if you fail to push the rock and you miss him, you won't be able to kill this guy, and he'll probably make your life miserable because he'll be after you for this entire section of the game, which is pretty long. So you don't want to miss. You want to save here and make sure you hit him. Just got to wait for him to go underneath there, which can be a while. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, I missed him. It lands with a pleasing thud. So it lands a little bit lower than I thought. So now, yeah, basically, that's it. Yep, and I fell to my death. You have traveled a long way only to die by carelessly stepping to your death. What a clod. Okay, so, let's wait for him again, and we will push that rock right on his head. Right on his stupid head. Come on, spider. You know you want to die. You know you want to die. Okay, I think he's coming now. Oh, I missed him again. Darn it. Try it again. Let me speed up. Speed up time a bit. Come on, little guy. You can do it. You know you want to. Come on. Do-do-do. There we go. It was not known that you are the master of the rock. That was a fine effort. Thank you, thank you. Alright, let's put it back on normal. We will save because I killed the spider droid. Replace this one. Alright, here we go. And we will continue on with our quest. Okay, here we go. Let's look around here. This looks a little interesting. You are high atop a rocky plateau. The desert below seems to stretch to infinity. All right. Look around here. Oops. Yep, same as below. Not same as before. And here we are at the area that we were talking about before, with the 2 rocks. Look at rocks. You see a pair of oddly curved rock formations. They point at each other as if to form an arch. So, oh, there we go. Down an invisible elevator. And now we're inside a cave of some sort. Look around. This is the end of what appears to be a large cavern. The only way to go is to the left. There's a rock nearby. Okay, so it's pointing out a rock. There's a lot of rocks here, though. You need to be closer. I think that's this rock. Take rock. Done. Alright, so let's go into this cave here and look around here. More places to explore. Moving right along. And this is interesting. This is another large chamber in the underground complex. There is a path to the back wall, which is not accessible from the bottom. Okay. So let's go around here. This grate looks a little suspicious. The grate is made of metal and seems to be fastened securely to the floor. It is too dark to see down through the grate. There is, however, an odd smell emanating from down there. Alright, so let's save here at the grate, and we'll just waltz right across it. Uh-oh. And notice how his head gets nice and big when he gets sucked in. You've been snatched from the existence by a tentacled beast lurking beneath the grate. You feel the painful sting of digestive fluids. And I once again died. But there is a way around this. If you walk on the edge here, you'll see he sidles by there, and you can get around him. And he can't touch you. I think you get points for that. I didn't really notice. Now, this part took us a long time. This was actually the one thing that I saw. I remember figuring this out because we were stuck here for a long time. And I was probably 7 or 8 years old probably 8 years old when I figured this out. And I remember my whole family was stuck here. And see, there's a path to the back wall which is not accessible from the bottom. So it's like, look at wall here. It looks like this opened up. Everything down here is composed of very hard rock. Everything has slimy look to it and feel due to humidity. And we couldn't figure out where to go. And we would look at this geyser. Look at geyser. There is a geyser cone here. It is rhythmically spewing hot steam. And we didn't know what to do. So cover geyser was one thing that we tried. I don't understand your request. But it was my idea, and I remember this because I was 8 years old and I was very proud of myself, and I didn't really figure anything out yet in these games. Everyone else seemed to do because they were older than me. Until I did this. Put rock on geyser. And there we go. It opened up a passage. That was the one hard puzzle that I think I solved. And here we are in this cave here. Let's look around. This is a slightly smaller chamber in the underground complex. There is a path above, which is not accessible from here. There's a pool on the right side. Look at pool. You gaze intently into the purplish pool of liquid, the first real sign of moisture on the planet. The pool seems to have no bottom. The gentle dripping has a soothing effect on your frazzled nerves. Okay, so let's see if we can drink water. You place your lips to the nozzle and draw. A fluid, not very reasonable facsimile of water, is released slowly while tasting slightly terrible. It quenches your thirst, at least for the time being. Alright, so I drank from the dehydrated water and not from this pool. But, enter pool. Your legs will take you where you want to go, in most cases anyway. I guess you can't touch the pool. I think in the remake you can touch that pool, and it does kill you because it's not water, it's acid, and it's really strong acid. But we'll skip that for now. This was another tough spot. I remember trying to navigate this, trying to figure out where to go, and you have to like kind of walk behind these things. I mean, these games were revolutionary at the time because they were the first computer games that you could walk around objects and behind them. And Sierra used to call them 3D animated adventure games because you could walk behind things and in front of things. Now this is the area that we were stuck at for a very long time. I think maybe even a few months. These beams here. Let's look around. You are in a large room in the cavern. There is a pathway above. At the south end of the room, there are odd-looking units emitting beams of light. Look at beams. The beams seem to form some sort of electronic barrier across the path. Alright, let's see here. I'll save this as beams. Now let's try to cross the beams and see what happens. You notice I look a little strange there, don't I? Oh, there we go. You are now lying on the floor in many pieces. Guess those beams meant business, Roger Wilco. So you don't want to cross those beams. They cut you into many pieces. And for the longest time, we had no idea what to do here because we did not have the item necessary to get past this. Remember how I said before, the mirror was, or the glass was very hard to find, very hard to see. But I remember my cousin. I remember after being stuck here for a long time, my cousin figured it out by looking at the broken window and taking the glass. And she was very smart to do that because there's no hints that there's broken glass you could take. I mean, you see the shattered window. You can look at the window, it says that it's shattered, but there's no hint that there's a piece lying around that you can see. It doesn't glisten like in the other games where you see something shining and you can pick it up. So there's very few hints that you could take the glass. But she figured it out. Once we got it, we knew immediately that we had to use it on this. So you have to block glass with, block beams with glass. And there he goes. He's reflecting the beams back at each other, and that destroys it. You have quite cleverly turned the beam upon itself, frying it into inoperability. Cool. He said it was like a mirror-like glass. And that was weird. I kind of walked in front of that. Oh well. So now we're going up here. We're going to the second floor now. Area we couldn't access before. And we'll soon have another obstacle to cross. This game is full of obstacles that can kill you. The dripping acid. Now this was fun. This was a little tough, but it was fun. And I remember my sister was good at getting past this because she had good eye-hand coordination at the time. So look around. This is the upper pathway in a slightly smaller chamber in the underground complex. There is a level area below which is not accessible from here. There is a pool on the lower right side. So if you just walk through this, the acid, just one drop of acid will kill you. You are unpleasantly surprised by a drop of searing acid which bores your way through to your feet. So it drops on your head and just goes right through you. It's like that powerful. So you need to avoid that, obviously, by not standing underneath these little stalactites here that are dripping the acid. So you could stand here, wait for the next one to drop. Oh, shouldn't have stood there that long. Alright, I guess I was kind of in a bad spot. There we go. Now we can save here. And after this last bit of acid drops, we'll walk through. And that's it. It's not that hard. It was hard back then, I remember, because we weren't too good at these games. Now, this is the point at which you should turn on the dialect translator because we're about to run into an alien that speaks another language. If you don't have the dialect translator on, he'll just speak gibberish to you and then get annoyed and kick you out. And then you'd have to go back out, cross the bridge again, and come back in, this time turning on the translator. If you missed the translator, if you didn't pick it up in the ship, then you're basically unwinnable at that point. You're stuck. There's no way to go back. You can't go back to get the translator. You have to start the game over or load an old save back on the Arcota and get that translator because you need it for this part. Fortunately, we have it. It's already on, so we should be able to understand what the alien says. But like I say, if you have the translator and forget to turn it on, he'll still kick you out. And I think you have to cross the bridge again. So that's one more cross that it'll mess you up if you cross that bridge too many times, and then that will render the game unwinnable as well. Another example of Sierra cruelty. which we all know and love. But we should understand him this time. As soon as you enter the room, you find yourself surrounded by darkness. Suddenly you become aware of the fact that you cannot move or speak. A strange, unknown force has taken over. And this is the guy that, speaking another language, we wouldn't understand him if we didn't have the translator on. A massive holographic image appears before you. You sense that you are the only life form in this area. So, you have found your way to my hallowed chamber. I have been monitoring your travels on our planet. It appears that you are up the proverbial estuary. I think that's up the creek in a very fancy way. Up the proverbial estuary without a means of locomotion, without a paddle. Okay. You are obviously in need of transportation. Can you give me a ship? Let us see if you are worthy of our assistance. On the surface lives a beast called Orat. He proves to be a bit of an annoyance on occasion. Dispose of him and bring back evidence of your conquest. Only then will I deal with your plight. Good luck, strange one. And yeah, actually, maybe you wouldn't have to cross the bridge again, because he does kick you out here, and you could walk back across and turn on your translator. Because if you didn't have the translator on, you wouldn't understand a word he's saying. He'd just kick you out, and you'd have to go back down there and go through all that again. But fortunately, I did have the translator on, so that saves a little time. And let's go on our quest to kill Orat. And unfortunately, we do have to cross this bridge again in order to do that. So let's not cross it too many times. We should be safe, because we'll only have 3 crosses, and you get 5 crosses before it breaks. And there's his cave right over there. It's our destination. And we have a mission to kill Orat. Now, I'm wondering if you guys know how to do it. It's a puzzle that my sister figured out. It was somewhat difficult. We didn't really know what to do, but eventually we figured it out. My sister was able to get it. We weren't stuck as long as we were stuck on those beams puzzle, but we were stuck for quite a bit. It's one of the more challenging puzzles in this game. So let's go in there, and maybe we could look at him and reason with him first. Orat is huge and ugly. Of course, your opinion may differ depending on what part of the universe you come from. It should also be mentioned that he is quite mean. What have we here? I probably should have saved before I went in there. There, I'm a basketball again. Orat has transformed you into a new source of recreation. You, of course, don't survive this treatment. It's tough to make friends around here. Alright, and that's not good. I didn't save since dripping acid. So, I'll stop recording here and just jump ahead to this point again. Alright, I'm back now. I saved right at the gates here, right at the cave entrance, so if we mess up again, I won't have to do that. Alright, so let's talk to Orat. Maybe we can reason with him. Orat is a guy of few words, and none of them are for you. Okay, let's leave. Maybe there's another clue in here. Notice how you have to... this is another example of needing to type really fast. Well, you could type out here, and then when you go in, you could say it. But if you want to do more than one thing, you have to type fast. And this, like I said, this game got me typing fast. You're in the slimiest of caves. The odor in here is less than desirable. Now, there's only one way to kill Orat. If you notice, he likes balls, so maybe he likes to play catch. And the only hint that you get is this. If you look at the dehydrated water, this is a cylinder of dehydrated water. At the top of the cylinder is a regulator and a short nozzle. On the side is a label. So you can read the label. The can label says, Pelvitron's dehydrated water, H2. All you add is air. Makes 10 gallons. So you have to really think this through. If it makes 10 gallons when you add air to it, What happens if that thing gets punctured? If the dehydrated water gets punctured? It's funny that it's called dehydrated water, yet it has two H's in it. It has two hydrogen atoms in it, and just missing the oxygen. But you add the oxygen to it, and it becomes 10 gallons. So what happens if he bites into this and eats it? He's gonna suddenly suck in 10 gallons of water. So wouldn't it be interesting? Directions to use: simply drink from nozzle. Metered amounts will be dispensed. Caution: do not attempt to open or rupture. Misuse could result in personal injury and or flash flooding. So wouldn't it be interesting to throw this into his mouth? So let me get out so I can. Oh, too late. Gonna be a basketball again. All right. Let's try throw water at Orat and see what happens. And there he goes, right into his mouth. He eats it because he's a. Orat, always in the mood for a snack, snatches the can out of the air. With his spacious oral cavity, chews and swallows it. He notices a rumbling deep within his abdomen because, of course, he punctured the can and now it's becoming 10 gallons of water right inside his stomach. So let's see what happens to him when that happens. He's bloated. And then he explodes. Orat's eyes prove to be bigger than his stomach for once. Incapable of becoming history's first living reservoir, his body succumbs to the intense internal pressure created by nearly 10 gallons of instantly reconstituted water. As a special bonus, you have received a much-needed shower. So now we have an Orat shower. But the guy also said he wants proof of Orat's demise, and there's a little piece that landed on the floor. That's a little piece of him there. You're in the slimiest of caves. The odor in here is less than desirable. Oops. It just said something, especially since Orat just exploded in here. On the ground rests a gleaming chunk of Orat's anatomy. So let's take Orat part. You reach down and take the Orat part in your hand. Some of it oozes to fill the spaces between your fingers. Yummy. Let's look at the disgusting Orat piece. The Orat part seems to consist of a spiny piece of bone with a small amount of somewhat less solid material clinging to one end. So that's going to have to be all the proof that we need that we killed Orat. And I hope I won't need to drink any more water because I just threw it into Orat's mouth and I have no longer any water. But if we get into shade, maybe I won't get as thirsty as quickly. So let's head back to our friend, the boop 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 guy, as I like to call him, because that's the noise he makes when he talks. Yeah, I'll cut this out because I might as well jump to it because you've seen me cross all this. Well, maybe it won't take that long. Let's see. We'll see how long it takes before I cut this piece out. But yeah, that was a puzzle. That Orat puzzle was one of the ones that we were stuck on for a while. And I have to thank my sister for solving that one. Alright, here we go. Across the bridge. See the cracks that it makes here. Boom, yes it. 2 more crosses and we're doomed. But fortunately, this is the last time we have to cross it. So I think I'm going to end the episode here. I've been going on a long time, and I don't want to do this all in one shot like King's Quest. It's a longer game than that. So I hope you're enjoying this episode of Let's Play Space Quest. This is my favorite game. I've been looking forward to this for some time. I'm going to do all the Space Quest games. I think I'm just going to run through them all because the whole series is great. I love the whole series. So until next time, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in Let's Play Space Quest Episode 2. Signing out.